Welcome to our YouTube channel, My Infinite Retirement. My name is Daniela and I'm one of the co-founders. And if you have children or even grandkids at some point, I'm sure you had questions about college planning, college funding, and education. Now, in this YouTube episode, we're actually going to cover one really important aspect of that, which is financial aid. And our college funding and planning expert, Debbie Goldstein, is going to share some really important insights and tips with us, as well as the downfalls to avoid. Now, Debbie has been an educational independent consultant for over 10 years, and her company, Savvy College Funding Solutions, has helped literally hundreds of families navigating through the really confusing and frustrating process of admission as well as financial aid. And in 2020, actually, Debbie was able to save her clients almost $750,000. And before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the bell to be notified when we upload new videos, and share this with your friends and family. Let's get started. All right, so this time during this episode, we're going to talk about financial aid, which is a big topic. So we're just going to start out with some simple questions. Debbie, what is FAFSA?
It's the free application for federal student aid. It is the foundation of all college financial aid. And it is filled out online. It is free. And it takes information from the parents' income and assets and information from the students' income and assets. And then it determines your expected family contribution of what you should be putting towards college. It also is used to be able to fund a federal subsidized and unsubsidized direct loans to the student, which have caps on it. As a freshman, it's $5,500 a year. As a sophomore, it's $6,500. As a junior and senior, it's $7,500 each. It also gives parents the opportunity to apply for a Parent Plus loan, which you have to be credit worthy for, but it's an easy way to get funds for college. But it does more. It actually even goes to, in our case, the state of California, and they look at the FAFSA to determine if you are entitled for a Cal grant from the state of California, and depending on your income levels, there are different amounts for a Cal grant. And the colleges themselves want to see your FAFSA, and they will look at that when they're thinking about giving you merit or need-based aid. It comes out tomorrow, but I highly recommend you do not rush the first week. In the 10 years I've been doing this, I find that sometimes there's bugs the first week, so I don't start filing anything for my families until the second week of October.
Got it. And then, so what are some of the qualifying factors? Can you name a few which will, make somebody or child eligible to receive more or less of financial aid?
Yes. Well, first of all, your primary residence is not considered an asset, and that is an error that many families make. Another asset that's considered non-countable in the FAFSA financial aid formula is any type of assets you have in a pension, retirement, annuity, or life insurance. Those are excluded. If you have a money market, CD, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and income property, and a 529 plan, those are countable assets of the family.
So basically that would reduce your eligibility to receive any federal aid.
Federal aid, first of all, let me just say this, all aid is given out on a first come, first served basis. So it behooves families to get these things done early. Okay, I forgot the rest. What was the rest of your question?
No, well, what are some of the qualifying factors to be eligible for financial aid?
Basically, the eligibility is you have to have a Social Security number and you have to file tax returns. The parents have to file the tax return. A student does not have to file a tax return. But if you have a U.S. tax return, a Social Security number, you can apply for financial aid.
Got it. And so how does the parent's income affect the eligibility for financial aid?
Well, if it The income is actually based on the adjusted gross income. That'll be one component. The age of the oldest parent in the house is another component. Again, if they own income property, that would be another component. Countable assets, like I mentioned before, those will all increase your chances of not getting money.
Hmm. And so if a family member, let's say for instance, an aunt, an uncle or so has a 529 planned for, that child, how could that affect the eligibility?
That's a great question, because if it's the parents that are the owner and their child is the beneficiary, it's considered a parental asset. Okay. And it's assessed at 5.64%. There's first an asset protection allowance that's given to the family, and then the remainder of that money is assessed at 5.64%. But if grandparents, aunts, uncles, or anyone else owns the 529 and that student is the beneficiary, once they fund the student, that amount of money becomes taxable income for the student, which is what we do not want.
Exactly.
Because students' assets are assessed at about 20% as opposed to parental assets at 5.64%. And students do not have a protection asset allowance either.
Got it. Now, you mentioned grants. Can you elaborate a little bit more on grants? Because there are a lot of grants out there, and what's the best way to find them? And yeah.
Well, it depends. So if you're looking for a lot of free money, the best grants and scholarships are going to come directly from the college. You have to meet their eligibility requirements. You can be need-based aid, and that means that it's dependent on the financial profile of your family. You can be merit-based aid, which is based on the academic profile of the student. You can be both.
Got it. So you said there's a lot of free money out there. So is there like a resource besides the colleges, the grants that the colleges give out? Is there like a resource that you recommend where students or parents can kind of see, okay, where is that free money? Where can they find it? What do they need to do to get it?
So those would be private scholarships. I happen to like a site called FastWeb. And the reason I like it is, one, it's a legitimate site. If any site asks for even $1, it is not a legitimate scholarship search site. They just want your information. FastWeb, the student creates a profile. And when applicable scholarship comes up, they email the student. So the student isn't spending hours and hours and hours looking for the needle in the haystack. You can also get free money based on your need and from the federal government. If you have a certain income, you could get a Pell Grant, which is worth, $6,000. You can get the Cal Grant, which I mentioned earlier. And the colleges would probably give you some money also. So you can get grants, free money from the federal, the state, and the college. But if you get a private scholarship of $300 or more, you must give that information to the college, and any money they would give you, they will deduct whatever you've gotten from a private scholarship. So if you've gotten $1,000 and they were going to give you $5,000, well, now they're going to give you $4,000.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So yeah, it is. That's why sometimes I do not advise my families to go look for private scholarships unless they're truly a need-based family. And really, if they're a need-based family and the student meets the academic profile, the college is going to give them just a ton of money.
Wow, that is such great information. So yes, thank you again for sharing those insights. And is there anything else that you wanted to add in regards to FAFSA, how to max out, or some advice for families how they can max out their eligibility for financial aid, the free money?
Yes. This is something the colleges are not going to tell you. And this is one of the reasons I created Savvy College Funding Solutions 10 years ago. is because colleges aren't going to tell you what financial aid forms you need and what the deadlines are. They'll post them on their website, and if you're savvy enough, you'll go and find them. But you have to understand that there's more than the FAFSA that several hundred colleges require if they want to give you a lot of free money, and it's called a CSS profile. That stands for College Scholarship Search. And that is a much more complex and comprehensive financial form that really goes in deeply into your income, your assets, your expenses, all sorts of things that the FAFSA does not go into. So many schools require every school requires the FAFSA. The FAFSA and the CSS profile, those are the most important documents you need to know are available to you and what their deadlines are. And let me just say a couple things about FAFSA and CSS profile. The FAFSA, if you make a mistake or you want to edit something, you can go in as many times as you want. It's open from October 1st to June 30th. The CSS profile, you do pay for each college, and it's electronically submitted. And once you submit it, you cannot make any changes. And this is a problem.
Better pay attention then.
So I had a family, they let their daughter fill out all their financial aid information, and she just made an error. Instead of showing that they had $85,000 in countable assets, it looked like they had $850,000 in countable assets.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And when the school didn't want to give them any money, they didn't understand. When I went and reviewed their documents, I saw in the CSS profile where she had made that major error. We did contact the school, and though it is highly unusual, the school was very cooperative, and they said, no problem, give us verifiable documentation of this, and we will then put it in the file. But most schools, 99% of them, are not going to allow you to do that. You have to make sure that that CSS profile is filled out accurately and completely. And those questions that are the same that are on the FAFSA, they better be to the decimal the same. Mm-hmm. That's the important college financial aid documents.
Wow, what a golden nugget that was. I'm sure 99% of the people don't know that out there. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No, they don't. No one's going to tell them except me.
Yes. See, that's why everybody needs to talk to you and have you help them. All right, awesome. Thank you again for enlightening us on, financial aid and all that. And that was very, very important. That's a very important aspect, obviously, of college funding and college planning. All right. Again, such great information today. So many golden nuggets for all the parents and grandparents out there. Thank you again, Debbie Goldstein. You are a true expert when it comes to college funding and planning, and Debbie has helped many, many families be better prepared for college. And so now you should have a much better idea what's FAFSA, what's financial aid, and also how you can benefit from it. And make sure you check out our other episodes where we talk about admissions. We're also going to talk about 529 plans and whether or not they're the right thing to do. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell to be notified when we upload new videos, share this with your friends and family, and if you want to know more about how to create your own infinite retirement plan, don't forget to watch our masterclass. The link is right below. And always remember, knowledge is power, but only once you apply it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.